Hello, everyone. Welcome back to this week's podcast. I don't know what number we are at, but that doesn't matter anymore. We have a packed podcast, video cast, whatever, to this week. CJ has been on a retreat, which he mentioned last time. It is a tantra retreat, and I have had a session, meditation session, interview kind of thing. Then we have probably some other topics as well. So I think this one is going to be great. Do you feel the same over there?
I feel the same, Philip. I feel. I
You
can
feel
feel
it?
it. I can feel it. I can feel it. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So I mean, I was thinking maybe this morning or whatever that I have two topics on my mind.
Mm.
And then we obviously, and then that is sort of on my side, and then we have your side of things. So where do you think we should start?
Y-
Uh,
uh, you
mm,
can start. I think you
yeah,
should. You got a ball rolling here. I feel
mm.
you can just
I
dive
think
right
so
in.
too. And but that's also because I think that your topic, the tantra topic,
Yeah.
has a little bit more, it's a little bit more. It's sexier, not in the. I mean, but the topic is sexy in itself, and
Yeah.
you want to keep the audience alive. You
Yeah.
want them to
Yeah.
stay. So
Yeah.
we're keeping, the sexy topics to the end of the show, and then we start with the more sort of mundane, more
Yeah.
slower topics at the
Yeah.
beginning. So we build up to some sort of climax here. Now, there's a lot of reference that can be translated or thought about sexually, but that's not what I'm talking about here. I'm just metaphorically. Anyways, so let's go. So the thing I was thinking about was, well, maybe I should just start with um, telling everyone how this session I had with the meditation teacher of mine. His name is Tucker Peck. You can find him on his website. I'm gonna write it down now so we remember to post that. But his link is basically, you can Google Tucker Peck. That's his
Mhm.
handle.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I had a session with him and I never had this kind of sessions before, and basically I was telling him like how my meditation practice was going, and he was asking a bunch of questions and guiding me. And one thing that I thought he did very interestingly, that is how he was asking how my meditation is, what's happening in my life, like how is this reflecting in your life, what is going well, what is not going well, and do you see any changes in your life. And I thought this is, maybe we spoke about this a bit last time, maybe, I don't remember.
Yeah. We did. Yeah.
Yeah, but this is at least a very interesting, I mean, there's a nice approach, and I realized, I mean, meditation does have had a really big impact on my life and keep on having that. And then I was, since we spoke about this a bit last time, I can go into more like a specific one,
Yeah.
and that is like an insight, or I don't know, like a thought that I've been having for some time now, and I call it the power of, not the power of now, the
Oh.
power of, what's the word? The power of, man, I was thinking about this just now. The power of intention. That's the word.
Mm.
Power of intention. I mean, and this is I like this topic because you don't, like, intention is basically, well, it's one of the things, it's basically like the only thing you got in one sense. Like you only can set your intention to do something, and then you don't really know how it's gonna go.
Yeah.
And a nice thing that I've heard that is like you set the intention today or all the time you're setting an intention, and the intention most likely the effects this intention will have in, let's say, 10 minutes is very, very small. So let's say you set the intention that I'm going to be a better person and I'm going to change the world. In 10 minutes, you haven't done that much, and your personality haven't changed that much. But if you keep setting this intention 10 years down the line, I mean, this intention will probably have changed your life. And I mean, and you're just setting this intention and moving in that direction. And this is, I think this is quite a big thing. The thing about intention. I'm just talking here right now. Do you have anything you want to ask? Do you have anything that's popping up in your mind when I say this?
Yeah, that was actually, I was writing down the word intention here, because when we did the tantra exercises, like the intentions was always to be there with love, and then that's like caring for the person you're doing the exercise with. That's always the intention. And what happens after that, in terms of when you're like you meet in the exercise, that will be what it is. But the intention is always caring, always giving love to the other person. Yeah. So that's I think it's very powerful. It's actually, you described it so well. So it's that's what pops up in my head. That you're doing this with love, and then what happens later, then you will have to keep that take care of that. But
because that's basically, as long as you have that intention. I mean, if I relate this now back to meditation, you set basically how I at least do this meditation, and we have spoken a lot about meditation, and maybe we haven't really gone into depth what the fuck we're talking about, just like a broad meditation. Maybe we have that today, or another podcast we go more in depth of what we're doing. But at least when I'm doing meditate, one of the most important thing is to set the intention. Okay, I'm going to focus on my breath. If that's what I'm doing, I'm going to focus on that, and this is the beginning of the meditation. This is what I'm thinking about in words, and also I feel it in sensations. So this is how it feels when I focusing on the breath of the tip of my nose. This is how it feels, and then I think the word. This is what I'm gonna keep on doing for the time I've set. I'm gonna set this, and I keep coming back. And the goal is to keep coming back. A meditation is not. You haven't failed if you start thinking, or if you move away your attention or whatever. You're succeeding when you're coming back, and that's the practice, to come back to your breath and come back to your intention. Come back to your intention all the time. And I mean, if you could translate this into the tantra exercise, is like you set the intention, and then your mind is going to go fucking crazy, because that's what it's doing, and then it's going to bring up old patterns, going to do shit. But then you have the intention, oh yeah, this is from love and this is from caring, and then you might need to change your personality, need to adapt whatever you're doing, because I'm just speculating now. I haven't done the exercise, but just sort of maybe you feel a desire, or you feel you want to do something, you want to be funny, let's say. Also, although this is from love, this is maybe I'm not supposed to speak right now. Maybe I'm just supposed to listen. This is from love. This is from caring. And then you keep on coming back to that, and then you fall back into old patterns, and you keep coming back to your intention. So I think this is, as I said, a very, very strong thing, and a very sometimes maybe overlooked aspect of I don't know, life, or how to make behavior changes in life. Over to you.
Yeah, I think what comes up in me is that when I did my meditation this morning, it was more of a preparing for. My intention was I need to prepare for like prepare my thoughts, basically. So that was this is unintentionally.
Mm-hmm.
I just got there, and then I started to sort like the weekend out, or what was sorting things out in my head, basically. And
So was it like more like an analytical kind of meditation? Like you were sort of, that was your intention?
There was no, it was unintentionally. So it was more of I have forgotten to set my intention, because I probably should read up on the book we both share, we both have, because it was a long time ago. It was several months ago that I actually set the intention for each meditation session. That I'm gonna sit here. I'm not gonna move. I'm gonna follow the breath in my nose, and then if I think about something, then I will go back, exactly as you said. So it's a very good reminder, and I think it's also translates to the exercise in tantra, because what this retreat was about was very much being very meditative in the experience. It should start in yourself. It should never be like a challenge or something like that. It should always be what is happening in you when you do this exercise, and like going back to that always.
Yeah.
So it's. I think it's. It feels really good that you're bringing this up now.
Yeah, but I mean, this is also something you can practice, like more formal and informal. And when I say formal, I would say more like you sit down and you do your meditation, or you do an exercise as whatever. But now you're sort of practicing the keeping in intention. But you can also do it informally, like if you're in a lecture or if you're working, you can just keep sort of, if you're doing your dishes, basically, you can say, okay, maybe you don't have to think. That's like the normal thing. You do your dishes, you do something that you don't need to think so much about what you're doing, because it's so easy. You can set the intention, I'm going to feel how this feels when I'm doing this. And you can feel the water, you can feel the plates or whatever you're doing, like the cleaning and stuff like that. And also when you're working, like if the work you're doing, you don't have to use so much sort of brain power, basically. You can just set, I'm going to set the intention to feel my body, or just know what I'm doing, like feel that you know what you're doing, basically. I mean, this takes up some brain power. So if you're doing very, very intense work that you have to think a lot, maybe you shouldn't do it. But I mean, hey man, maybe you can try. I mean, I don't know. I try to do when I'm at lectures, like just try to keep on focusing on just be present and listen, and not to sort of dream away and think about something. Just be present and listen, and that's the practice. Like keep on doing that, and so you can apply this intention practice to many things, and I think it's it's very powerful, and it's very I think this whatever insight of this topic is. It's fascinating. It's very fascinating.
I feel so too, because it's almost like that's what I feel, at least, when you're coming back to, oh, okay, I'm mind wandering now, or I'm thinking about something that I'm not focusing on the lecture or on meditating, and you're coming back, and that feels good. So you know, like, okay, because the intention have been set, so I think there's a little like, this is good. This is what I'm supposed to be doing, actually. So it's like a reward system almost. That you're coming back to that intention, and it becomes easier and easier, I feel, to coming back the more you do it.
Yeah, for sure. And this brings us to sort of this is where I'm not really clear, but this is sort of the next level of intention. And this is like, where does the intention even come from the beginning? Because it's almost like the intention usually comes from what do you want to call it? Source, the universe? I mean, intention tends to be sort of positive, like this is something that is bringing something good to myself or the world or whatever. So where is this? It's almost like there's another dimension. Where is this intention coming from? Why? Because the reason you don't keep your intention is because you forget, because you're in your head, because you're thinking, you're not as present. You can just, I mean, it's easy to say, yeah, my intention is to be present to everything, and then I'm going to be kind to people. That sounds reasonable. Well, try doing that. It's not that easy. So, I mean, that's all. I mean, I don't have the answer to where the intention come from, but it's just, you can think about it. It's quite fascinating. What is this intention even doing? Like, what we're just sitting here talking about this YouTube podcast kind of thing. Where's the intention to do it? Well, it's fun, but they're just coming from somewhere, you know. It's the intention to do this show or whatever. I'm not expecting you to have an answer to this, but maybe you have a reply, or did you?
But it was a notion in me that I felt like we spoke about this almost every episode, that I feel I'm much more present. And I will go into this more when I talk about the retreat, but I feel like that intention, being present and being kind to people and myself, isn't that hard anymore.
No.
It's almost it doesn't take that much effort, basically.
No,
I still relapse, of course, but in the space I'm in right now, I feel very grateful for that. Feeling those things. So and it's fun. I don't know the answer to that, because you know where it comes from. I have to marinate on that one, actually.
Yeah.
Maybe
this just segues into the tantra. I don't know if we're already there. I mean, I mean, we can go on and on for about intent. Maybe we can bring it in again.
Yeah, I think so.
So tell us about this. You call it a retreat. Have you been away, or have you?
I left on first day, and we arrived at 4:00 in the afternoon at this retreat in Värmland, which the retreat is called. It's called Body Love Tantra.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was a kind of this, if I'm gonna go, like, it's a entry course for tantra. And so if you don't have any experience necessarily, this is a good course, I would say, and this is what it's promoted as well in the, like, on their website at this. Yeah. So
is it for like couples or both, or is it for?
You can come as a couple. You can come as a just your own self, basically.
Yeah.
So it's up to you how you want to interact in this group setting.
Okay.
So you could either be with a partner, or you could be by yourself, because each exercise is like, it's important that you're doing this for you. It's that is what the body love comes in.
Okay.
It's always gonna be like there's no like getting away from like pressure and how things should be, and just feeling what is, and being very like subtle things. We did like yoga each morning, which was this very small, which is called the name of the like the teacher, her like it's also called Body Love Yoga, basically.
Okay.
She got a retreat for that as well.
But what's that like? What kind of yoga is that? Is it?
I can't. There's like her brand on yoga, but I don't know what like the what's the origin is from this. But it's very like slow yoga, where it's
like yin yoga, or
no, like, it's more of a hatha yoga, but it's like you're doing like from child pose. You go up to like table, and then you like stretch your body in a very, very subtle way.
Okay.
So it's always like doing these small things with your body, like tilting the pelvis and stuff like that to like make space in this. And always, never, if you're like we're doing. If you're gonna move the body, like never, it should not be any pressure on like the lower back or something like that. It should always be very subtle and very gentle.
Okay.
And that is setting the like in the intention on the whole experience, because it's always like every like thing should be with care and for like what is happening in you and should what and this resonates through the whole retreat, basically.
Nice.
And that's like the precursor for this retreat. And we were like 40 people, I think. Like 40 people, in this group.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So that's interesting, because she was very the teacher or the instructor. She was very like. She handled the group so well, and she teaches in like she teaches coaching and stuff like that. So she has like this group. My friend I met there, she told me she had, like, you don't notice it, but she's like working the group dynamic. So we were never a like small subgroups. We're always a big group. Like it was cool. So. Never any divides, basically. It was very interesting. And we were like 20 men and 20 women. So it was always going to be like you should be able to pair up with the other sex if you wanted to. And how do
how do you rate it?
I think it's in terms of, I've never been to a tantra retreat before, and this was one. I think this was a very good one for me to start with, because like it was very like, it was never any like exhibitionist sort of things. You were never supposed to be like, the challenge was never to be challenged. It was to be like in yourself the whole time, that you could be. And that felt it was very good in the things I'm in right now. It was like perfect. And what should I tell? I'm just gonna like tell things here and see what. I'm just gonna go. Yeah, let's see what happens.
So let's start. You came there on Thursday at 4, and then then what happened?
Then we did a a set of yoga, and then we had the dinner, and then we had a tantra exercise where we I don't know. Well, I can tell some things, I guess,
because you can share what you
of
like,
course,
what you experienced,
of course. But there's also a certain thing that if you want to do this, then you should know as little as possible, I think. But in terms of what we started to do, like how feels a no and a yes, like setting that intention for that you're always supposed to, like, if you don't feel this, then you should be able to say no, and those type of things, which is very important in everything, basically, and especially when you're involved with another person and when you're touching each other or like doing these exercises, we can be you're in a very you can maybe in a very vulnerable state sometimes, so that's very important. We did things about that, and nice things like being held, stuff like that. So it was very nice. And I became very tired very early on because it was like the, I don't know, just releasing all the pressure, basically, I think. Like there's always like a certain, for me, it's like when I got there, it's like when you start getting those really nice long hugs that you're not used to when you're in the city or whatever. And that's like, oh, okay, now it's okay. Now I know what this is going to feel like. You're like getting in, I'm going to like, I'm being more relaxed and feeling the benefits of like that type of like, I don't know,
like social interactions.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Another way of being with other humans, so to say.
Exactly. And the thing, I had like some worries, but they went away pretty quickly. And there were like, I was in my like very present almost the whole time. And we did a exercise where I was being held, and then like all these things started to, like, I was trying to be present basically when we're doing this exercise. And
is that a physical exercise, like being held?
Okay. I'm being held by a woman, and like I want to be present. I want to be I want to be there, basically. But there's all this like imagery coming up into my head, all thoughts and like unprocessed things, I guess. Yeah,
that was distracting you for being held or being in the moment.
Yeah, exactly, being there, basically. And I talked to this teaching assistant about this, and he gave me a very like I don't know. He gave me some advice. I don't know. It's in Swedish called spegling. It's like he gave me.
Oh yeah, he was mirroring you.
Yeah, exactly. He was mirroring me with his like, what you're doing there is you're setting that you have to prestera. You're trying to be something in that moment. You're not
achieve something.
Yeah, you're trying to achieve something by being present. If you just let it go and just be with what is, instead of just coming back to being present or trying to be present.
Now, yeah.
Just be with what is happening. Because you're trying to achieve something that's not necessary. Just be with what is. And that was like
you try to sort of push away the thoughts. Like now I'm supposed to be present.
Exactly.
And now these thoughts are distracting me from being present.
Yeah.
And I'm doing this wrong, or I want to experience this fully or something.
Yeah. Exactly.
Is that something? Because I mean, I can relate to that one. So,
no, but it's like taking the long road around to getting to the place. Like the point, I guess, is always like surrendering.
Yeah.
Like accepting what is. Okay, these things come up. Okay, they will come up. Like they are thoughts, and they will come, and they will go.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what I was trying to do, like, okay, I was trying to get back, like we talked about, like the being in the meditation.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess in that space of trying to come back, I was like putting this, that I needed to achieve this to have a good experience, basically. And I think this relates to so much in my life when it comes to like being maybe in a relationship, maybe especially being like in those type of intimate moments that I have to achieve something. I have to be in a certain way to be accepted or be able to be loved or something like that. There's always that I have to be a certain way. And it was very, it was a very good mirroring, because the thing that also happened to me a lot was that, okay, he told me this, and okay, I'm like, I can't really understand it like cognitively, but in my heart or in my body, in my emotions, I take it right in. And that's like a new thing for me. That it's like it doesn't even pass. It doesn't go through me like in a mental way. It just goes directly to me, to my body, or how you want to describe it. And this is a very happy place to be in.
But I'm just gonna maybe ask some questions.
Yeah, of course.
So you, I mean, is this common for you to sort of that you start thinking and then you want to get out of the thoughts and then you want and be in the moment? Is that like, because I mean that's like first stage is just think, you shut off or something, you start doing something, your mind is sort of protecting yourself from feeling or whatever, and then you realize that's what you're doing, and then you're realizing that, and you want the thoughts to go away, and then I mean you need some other sort of technique to get the thoughts away. So is that basically what's happening, or
it's like when if you're meditating and you're really tired, you can start to breathe more deeply, because then you will feel the sensation more. And this can be very beneficial when you're like when it's hard to feel the breath. But in terms of like just finding that subtle breath, I feel that that's more they come closer to what's happening in the moment. And that's basically what I'm trying to explain. Like there comes
but
like,
maybe maybe I can. I don't know if this is the same thing, but this is just something that I've heard, and maybe you can say that this is on the same path. So the difference, sort of say, between an awakened being or someone that has that has been awakened or liberated, is that that person will enjoy the ego coming back as much as the ego goes away. Do you understand this?
I don't know. I don't know if I understand it.
So,
I want to
okay,
I want to understand this. That's
Okay.
what I feel. Yeah.
Okay, so basically, I mean, one concept or one idea is like that the ego will disappear when you're awakened.
Yeah.
And that, I mean, it won't disappear. It will just I mean, this is what I think, at least. But it will just be there, like everything else. It comes and goes, like everything. You can more or less, yeah, it comes and goes. The difference is that many people sort of, when you get to a stage, oh, this is here's my thoughts, and here is my whatever, this problem. You will this is what equilibrium is pretty much like. You enjoy it or you accept it as much as it when the thought goes away and you're in the sort of a no mind state. You enjoy that so much. Well, enjoy when the ego is there and the thoughts are there and everything is going crazy. I mean, this is, you accept both the when it's there and when it's not there. You make it equal. This is like a key in liberation, I would say. And I mean, is this something on the line of what you're talking about?
Yes, I think that's that is something that I feel or have felt lately. That is like there is like this song that I listen to with a band called Price called Just Breathe, and it's basically like it's telling you like, okay, there his sings in this song like there will always be something like that I'm supposed to find. There's like always there's a search in my head, but like breathing will take me back, and that's something that I really realized when there's a like what you talked about, that I'm so okay with all the thoughts because I know what their purpose is. They just are just meant to be there. And when I breathe and when I become present, they're not there anymore, or they're on a lower volume or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's, I think in a certain sense I can feel that notion. There's something like that happening in me, like this last 2 weeks. And on that note, it was like the very next day we did the last evening, basically we did another exercise, and I was with the same woman, and that was it was very like a very nice moment between us two, and there was still like I was there was still like there was coming up thoughts, but they weren't really like I was thinking them, and when they were supposed to get down to my heart, like okay, there were like negative or low thoughts basically, and when they was going to go back, like go down to my body or being like, yeah, they were not true. They were not going to make me feel sad or make me feel less than, basically. It's like these old patterns and all these wounds, basically, that I'm not good enough, or what, like in that sense that I'm not good enough, or I'm not worthy of this. Like these thoughts, they were not they were not able to affect me. Like when they were passing down to my heart to like be like a, so to speak, there was like the heart was like saying, this is not true. You like it was just floating away basically. And I can feel this very vividly. And that is, I had never felt that before or experienced that before. And that was
I mean those two things goes well together, because it's to sort of the thoughts are there, and then it's just it's sort of like you start loving the thoughts. I mean, this basically it's don't try to sort of make them go away or change them or whatever. They're there. They're saying what they're saying. Just sort of, yes, you're here, thought. It's nice, whatever. Yeah. And this is the sort of, just you're as good as any other thought. This is just a thought. It doesn't have any substance, whatever thought. Even if you're saying I'm the best or I'm the worst, it's the same. It's a thought. And this is the equilibrium. I mean, it's easier to sort of have the positive thoughts, and it's nice. But the trick of the game is to feel the same with the other thoughts, the more negative thoughts. Yeah, this is just a thought. It's nothing more than a thought.
Yeah. And that's it was also and that's like somewhere in this like this 3.5 days basically. There was also I realized also like all this, like in yoga there's a word called samskara, and this is like past patterns or like experiences that are have gotten stuck in you.
Yeah.
That they are not resolved basically. Yeah. And I could, like when we're doing the exercises and when we're not present, that is when the samskaras for me came up.
Yeah.
And when I because like the book I was telling a couple of episodes ago was, there's a chapter on where like
which book was this?
The Untethered Soul.
Oh yeah.
And there is a chapter on like he calls it like spiritual energy. Like if you're, and this is exactly what you're talking about with the thoughts. Like if you're able to, with all this, but with some scars, this all like these impressions. Like if you're able to just have an open heart, to just letting them pass, no matter what, you will not have this affect you in that sense, and they will just go away, and you will have a lot more energy to be happy and to be present.
Yeah.
So, and then then exactly what you're talking about, like every thought or everything that was coming up, then it was just, okay, this is just me cleaning my insides, basically, like scrubbing away, and like realizing, okay, there's a reason for these thoughts, and now there's a reason why they're coming up now, and they're meant to be cleaned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems like you had some profound insight. This retreat makes me want to go.
And I think I can really recommend this place, and this I will put a link in the description. And there was also another really good moment. There was 2 moments that at least, like, because I was after this like I was feeling even though I was feeling like this couldn't really affect me in that way that it used to do, it still made an impression on me. So I talked to a friend who was there, and got some mirroring, and there was like this old wound where I feel like I'm not good enough. Basically, I'm not worthy of this feeling, this pleasure or feeling love, basically. And he asked me if I could just do, like, reach out and like do the thing that I was basically afraid of. And yeah, I just don't want to say too much here. That's why I'm being so broad. But when I realized, like, when he said that, it made me light up, because I realized like being in gratefulness or thankfulness instead of being in something that is like, oh, I'm been wrongly hurt or something like that, or I'm been hurt, basically, or something like that. Staying in that wound, basically, there was a way out of that wound, and that was being true to myself and reach out for the things that I want, basically.
Yeah.
So, and then there come up a lot of thoughts, like, how am I supposed to do this? How will this happen? And then it was like, okay, in the moment, I know exactly what to say, and there will be no problems.
Yeah.
So just accept that, and then they will be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, that links it back to intention. I mean, now you have, I mean, sometimes you just need, you can have the intention that, like, where you want to go, like, this is where I want to be, this is how I want to feel, this is what I want to do. And then that intention, I mean, that will in a way show you what you need to do or whatever. You keep setting that intention over and over again, you will know what to do and how to do it and when to do it. And I mean, you will, if you keep setting the intention, that means small changes in your body will change you. I mean, this is how I believe, at least, but you will be changed, and then you don't know what the effects will be. You will just change, like that's how it works.
Yeah. And I can honestly say that, like, when we left the retreat, and like today, it's like there's so many beautiful people, and it's so easy to, like, it's interesting also, like, I'm trying to find eye contact and like meet people, but it's not the same in the city as it were in the retreat, and that's always funny, I think. But I'm just gonna say, like, like on the last exercise we did, like all this building
like before
up.
going home, so to say.
But exactly, we're doing like a type of meditation exercise where you're also allowed to, like, you're eye gazing in the beginning, then you're also allowed to, like, come closer and, like, touch each other or embrace each other, basically. And I'm doing this with a woman, and I'm like, there is some thoughts, but I'm very much present. But it's like, okay, I'm trying. Okay, I'm not really feeling this. There was some thoughts about this, but then I'm just giving myself to this. Okay, I will just. Okay, I just giving myself, basically. I'm surrendering, and then doing that, trying, like, to surrender, and then I just try to cry so much, like this. Like I'm grasping for air, basically, and it was very profound in that way. There was no thoughts about why this was happening, and there was no thoughts about if I were making her feel bad, or if I was making, I don't know, I wasn't feeling ashamed of myself. There was nothing. There was just me having this crying and just feel as breathing basically. And she held me, and it was really beautiful. And it was like the same thing if I was to laugh out loud so much. That's what it felt like. It was like because sometimes like if you cry or whatever, that's something like negative or something. That's okay. He's feeling very sad or whatever. It was like so much healing in this.
Yeah.
Because I was
crying is like the best.
Yeah, but it's sometimes you can feel low afterwards, and it can be very draining. This was like the opposite of that. It was like I felt more energized. I felt healed in a certain sense.
Yeah.
But not like I was I didn't think that I was that. It was just there was nothing afterwards. Like this thing that took place didn't happen, or it's just like it just absorbed directly. And it was
that sounds amazing.
It was amazing, and it was like okay, I didn't need to think about why this was happening, and why it was happening, or there was no. I didn't need to like put a label on this. I can, but it's like that's not necessary.
No.
And I don't know. It was like it was very it was very something.
Yeah, exactly. We don't need to put a label to it. It's just something. It's just an experience.
Exactly. That happened when it was supposed to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It sounds amazing. I mean, it's just a great experience, I guess.
Yeah, and then we went for some like fika or coffee, tea, and something like that, and then we were going home. So when I was going like around hugging people, they was like very like adamantly telling me you should really take care of yourself, and like but in a very very loving I made a very much impact on them. And and like I didn't, well, it's like I don't know why they said like what they said. Of course, well, I'm guessing that I'm a very that I made an impact on them. But in my mind, it's like this has nothing to do with what just happened.
No, I mean we're so not used to seeing emotions in daily life.
Yeah.
But I mean, there was a few days of doing stuff. So I mean, I think that's just one of the things I guess you were doing in the group. That I mean, maybe the icing on the cake. I don't know, but you know.
Yeah. And it's true, and it went right to my heart. Basically, all those things they said. Basically, it was very nurturing. Being that authentic and having nothing questioning anything, basically. So
that sounds like a great weekend. I'm a bit jealous, but I've also heard an expression that don't get jealous, get I forgot. Don't get jealous, get I don't know, get motivated or something. Something. Don't get jealous, get motivated. Something that sounds better in that line. So I'm not jealous. I am motivated, and I am happy for you. That sounds great. A very, very cool thing to do, actually.
I think I'm really recommend it to you and your wife to go. It's a very especially you can do individually, but I think it's also like there were a couple of couples there, and they were like really taking it. It was so beautiful to see them as well, because they were like they're taking that step to that type of realization that we can do like all those things. Yeah, like there's so much things to do.
Yeah, but that's amazing. I mean, how much things that can change in just 3 days or whatever, or maybe less even. So yeah, we're gonna put that link in the description. So if anyone listening, we're gonna share that obviously now when I have a notepad open and write down stuff. We have gotten some comments about that we don't write down the links in the description, and I'm sorry for that. So nice. I mean, maybe we should. Maybe what do you have anything coming up? I mean, there's coming up now. Now you're back to basic.
I don't know. Game of Thrones is the next thing.
I've seen. We could talk about that. We haven't done that yet.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet, but
me neither. I don't even watch it. So I've seen season 1, and then maybe I'm gonna watch it sometime. But, I don't know if I have anything special upcoming. I mean, it's Easter. That's what's happening. So are you gonna meet any relatives or anything?
Yeah, I'm gonna visit my parents, and
me too. So then we for sure have something to talk about.
That is
I mean, we love them, of course, but still, there can be topics that how it is to meet your family can always be an adventure, an experience. That's what we say. Well, I mean, have the intention to be positive, send love, and then we'll do our best. I don't think I have anything else. Do you?
No, I think it's very much. I think we're almost full circle here. I think.
Great.
Yeah.
So happy. I mean, now we're not really releasing them today, so we're happy.
Happy Easter,
post Happy Easter, but still Happy Easter.
Yeah.
Hope everyone have a great week, and we'll be back talking about something. We don't know what we're gonna talk about. We'll see. Something is gonna pop up. So much love to everyone. Take care.